Am I the a-hole for announcing my sister's pregnancy after finding out my boyfriend, now ex, is the father? I, 19 female, was with my ex-boyfriend, 19 male, until just a couple of weeks ago when I found out he got my sister, 18 female, pregnant. The way I found out was by accident. I overheard them talking about it. My sister was panicking and freaking out because she knew if I ever found out, I would be done with her. My ex, on the other hand, seemed completely unbothered. He didn't care that he had betrayed me, and he didn't care about the fallout it would cause in our family. Hearing that conversation shattered me, but I decided not to explode right away. Instead, I held it in, kept my cool, and waited until the right moment. That moment came when we were with our family. I announced the news to everyone there in front of both of them. My boyfriend immediately ran off once he realized I was going to break up with him, and my sister had a full breakdown. She started crying, begging me not to hate her, and saying she made a mistake. She told me she would have an abortion if that would fix things between us, and she begged for us to go back to the way things were. For context, she had been living with me since April because she and our parents weren't getting along. We had been planning to move somewhere bigger in a few weeks, and she was supposed to come with me. After this betrayal, I told her that wasn't happening anymore. From that day on, I refused to live with her. I packed up and started staying with a friend. Now without me, she can't afford to live in the apartment. Our parents still don't want her back in their house, and I'm not stepping in to help her. My ex has completely bailed as well. He's refusing to take any responsibility for the mess he helped create, so she's basically on her own. Since everything came out, my sister has been trying to make amends. She's reached out, trying to talk and fix things, but I haven't acknowledged her attempts. I won't. To me, that relationship is over. She crossed a line I can never forgive, and I don't see myself ever trusting her again. I honestly don't know where she's staying now. One of our aunts got involved recently, though. She told me that what I did was disgusting, that I had ruined my sister's life by throwing her out when she's just a kid, and that I should have handled things privately. She said I was heartless for humiliating her and leaving her without a place to live. I told my aunt to pick up the pieces if she was so concerned and to leave me alone because I don't care anymore. I said my sister had it coming the moment she started sleeping with my boyfriend. My aunt pushed back, saying I was letting a guy come between my sister and me and that it was nasty business. She asked me if I could live with myself if my sister ends up having the baby and ends up on the streets. My answer was simple. It's nothing to do with me anymore. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to forgive my sister and cutting her off completely after what she did? Now for the top comments. I don't think people realize how brutal it is to be cheated on with a sibling. She ruined her own life the second she decided to sleep with your boyfriend and try to hide it. She knew exactly what she was doing and chose to gamble with your trust. You don't owe her a roof, forgiveness, or a relationship. People really don't get it as much as they should. Anyone with siblings should put themselves in the shoes of the person cheated on and see if they'd still love and care about their sibling. No, I completely agree with you. I have a sister, and close or not, I could never imagine myself sleeping with her partner, no matter if it's her ex, boyfriend, husband, or even a crush. That's disgusting, and that's on her. Definitely not the a-hole. Letting her back into your life is like asking for it to happen again, or worse, saying it's all right what they did. Do you, boo, and let her figure it out. That's how I feel. Like, why should she be let off the hook for what she did? She made her own choices. Not the a-hole. She can live with your aunt and sleep with her husband. You didn't go no contact and, for all intents and purposes, no longer have a sister because of a cry. You did it because she betrayed you. She made her bed. She can lie in it. And your ex is spineless trash. Make sure everyone knows what they did. Go no contact with your aunt as well. Make sure you pack up and move all of your things out before your sister steals from you. They're already moved out. I got back there before she could and made sure she wasn't doing anything else she shouldn't. I don't have a lot of stuff right now, which helped a ton. Next story. Am I the a-hole for rejecting my dad's efforts to stay in my life after he cheated on my mom and moved in with his pregnant other woman? My parents separated last year after my mom found out my dad had been cheating on her with a woman he worked with. He got her pregnant, and he found out that's when mom learned he was cheating. She broke up with dad and filed for divorce. Dad moved into an apartment with the other woman. He tried to set up chances for me to meet her and spend weeks or weekends with them, but I wanted to stay where I was, and I didn't want to see him with her. Like, WTF. Why would I want to meet the other woman? Dad told me he hadn't wanted any of this to hurt me, but he fell out of love with mom and always intended to leave her when I turned 18 and moved out. He said that the affair was to help him survive the last few years of being with mom. I told him they were weak-ass reasons, and he told me I was too young to understand, but he only married mom because she got pregnant with me, and then she never gave him other kids and their intimate life was awful. I asked him what the heck was wrong with him, telling me something like that. At the time, he was like, "Oh, you're 17 now, so you're old enough to know this kind of thing." And I told him it was way too much info to say to his son. He told me he'd be brutally honest with me, even if it was TMI, to save our relationship. I told him that to save our relationship, he'd have to undo the affair and making another baby. Dad showed up outside my school every Friday, trying to take me out to lunch or trying to take me to meet his other woman. After the other woman gave birth, he showed up with the baby and tried to introduce me to her. But I ignored him and would text him that I would not be the involved big brother to his affair kid, and he couldn't make me meet them for real. The divorce was finalized 3 months ago, and my dad immediately married the other woman. I was invited and didn't go. Then he announced that she was pregnant again, and he told me we're officially family now, and I should meet her and their daughter, and actually join in the family. He said he loved and missed me and didn't want to lose me, and he could show me that none of this had to end our relationship, and we could all be happy. I told him that his actions made me see him differently, that he lost my respect when he cheated and knocked someone else up. I pointed out how I'm 18 now, and just like he was ready to leave mom when I turned 18, I was ready to leave him and legally could. Then I asked him to leave me alone and told him I wasn't going to give in, because I don't want to be a part of his affair family. He gave me a couple of weeks to come crawling back before he was like, "Please don't give up on us," and stuff like that. When I didn't reply, I got a call from my grandma, and she was asking me why I was giving up on my dad and why I'd pass up the chance for siblings. She said even imperfect parents can be important for us, and to imagine how I'll feel in 30 years when I miss the chance to say goodbye to dad and don't know my only siblings. I told her I really didn't care, because his affair kids will never be real siblings in my eyes, and I feel like I already said my goodbyes to dad. I had nothing else left to say. She said that was disappointing, but also a very 18-year-old way to look at things. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your dad is. You are not required to do anything you do not want to do with him, his affair partner, and your half-siblings. If he forces the issue, you can always ask him, in front of her, if he told her she was just supposed to be a temporary bang buddy until the divorce, but he apparently never learned how condoms work and got baby-trapped again, then walk away. I still haven't really met her, so I really don't want to do that just for a moment like that. But I might say it in front of other people, and it might embarrass him enough to leave me alone. Had your dad been adult enough to be honest with his feelings, perhaps you could still have had a relationship. But no, he claims your mom baby-trapped him, but isn't that exactly what this new affair has done as well? Doesn't sound like the brightest crayon. Better for your dad to accept that actions have consequences, not the a-hole. He didn't even say mom baby-trapped him, just that he stayed for me because he wanted to be a full-time dad. Kinda hard to buy that when he was out screwing some woman when he could have been doing stuff with me. Next story. Am I the a-hole for bringing up how much trauma it causes to be hated by siblings for being affair babies? Me, 20 female, and my sister, 19, have half-siblings from our mom's first marriage to her late husband. When her late husband was terminally ill, she started an affair with our dad, and her kids found out about it. I was born 2 years after mom's first husband died, but in the eyes of my older siblings, me and my sister were affair babies, and they hated us for it. They told us every chance they got that we were disgusting and never should have been born, and that our mom and dad were disgusting whores. When my parents' marriage broke down when I was in middle school, my mom's older kids celebrated, and they told us they were glad our lives were turned upside down too, and that me and my sister didn't get a better life than them. They said we didn't deserve it and that they hoped we'd end up orphans because they would let us rot in foster care. We did lose our dad 3 years after the divorce, and mom became an alcoholic. That was something else my older siblings cheered about. They loved that mom was ruining her life. That was the last contact we had with them, but they were all completely grown and married by then. We were having a dinner party with my paternal family and my boyfriend and his immediate family. During dinner, a couple of my relatives asked me and my sister if we had tried to reach out to our older siblings recently and suggested that it would be good for us. My sister left the table in tears, and I told those relatives it wasn't a good idea. They tried to convince me it would be, and that enough time had passed for feelings to change. But I pointed out that it's a trauma for me and my sister with how strongly we were rejected and hated for being affair babies, which had nothing to do with us. I said we weren't even born during the affair period, but we'd never be anything more. And since our older siblings celebrated our lives becoming difficult multiple times when they were already adults, I didn't think it would be positive to have them in our lives. My boyfriend's family felt so bad for me being pressured like that. But one of the relatives involved doubled down and said it wasn't the kind of topic you discuss in company. By the topic, they meant the trauma of being called affair babies and hated for it. They said it's also not fair to push that emotional burden on people trying to help me and my sister. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It's not the kind of topic you discuss in company. I agree. So what did you bring it up at dinner with guests present for, Betty? It's kind of funny that they brought it up first, but I'm the one who pushed it into inappropriate for company talk. Not the a-hole, but I'm confused why your dad, the original affair partner in this story's family, wants you to reconnect with people who hated your dad as much as they hated you too. I mean, you didn't say specifically that the older siblings hated him, but I can only imagine, if they were spitting that much vitriol at small children, what they were saying to the two people who actually were at fault for cheating. So why would your family, who are no relation to those older siblings, push you to reconnect with them, especially knowing how horrible they have been to you? Not the a-hole. Also, your fiancé's family deserve to know the truth about your family. They have a big thing about blood ties, so the fact my older siblings are blood-related matters a lot to some of Dad's side. Last story. Am I the a-hole for calling my aunt selfish and telling her she can't just offload her parental responsibility on me? My aunt and her 4-year-old daughter came down yesterday and will be staying with us for the rest of the week. I love spending time with my little cousin and aunt, but my aunt was putting everything on me, and eventually I said enough is enough. The first incident was when we were all sitting at the table talking, and my cousin, let's call her Eve, said she was hungry, which my aunt instantly replied, "Oh, Amy will make you lunch." Will I? So I ended up making lunch for her, and then my aunt wanted food, so I ended up making it for everyone. Skip a few hours, Eve needed the toilet, and my aunt told her I would take her, which I thought was a bit unfair, but I just did it to keep the peace. Then it turned out I had to take her another 2 times that evening and keep her entertained so my mom and aunt could have some sister time. Then it turned out that my aunt was having the spare room bed to herself, and Eve was sleeping with me, which my aunt dropped on me just before going to bed. She told Eve that if she needed the toilet in the night, I'd take her, and she could sleep with me for the week. Bit unfair to sign me up for that, I thought, but my mom told me to just keep the peace and put up with it, so I had to dig out some old pajamas that I could wear while she was in bed with me. I had to take her to the toilet in the night and clean her up, which honestly made me feel ill. I was then asked to get her washed and dressed the next day and entertain her for hours while my aunt went out, and I was signed up for making food for everyone again. By this point, I was super tired because I had broken sleep and had spent all my time and energy on Eve, which I don't mind because I love her, but at the same time, I was basically being her mom so my aunt could have a mini holiday. The final straw for me was when I ran my bath and told everyone that I was having a bath and that I'd be a little while. My aunt instantly shouted for Eve and told her she was getting in the bath with me. What the heck? I kind of snapped and told her that just because she was staying with us didn't mean she could offload all her parental responsibility on me, so she could get drunk every night and do what she wanted. We got into a bit of a heated discussion. My mom got super angry at me, and I was basically forced into taking Eve into the bath with me and washing her. It's like my privacy has just vanished, and instead of my mom sticking up for me, she sides with my aunt. I've now been told I can't go out tomorrow until I apologize to my aunt for what I said, but I don't think I've done anything wrong, or at least anything unjustified. Maybe I am the one in the wrong, but I don't see how dumping all your responsibilities on an 18-year-old so you can get drunk and mess around every night is fair. It's her kid. She needs to take care of it, not the a-hole. It's fine to ask for help, but demanding it or just saying you will do it is wrong. Completely invading my privacy and time and then getting angry when I complain? Make it make sense. You are 18. Why are you taking orders from your mom? Go out, stay with a friend. Not the a-hole. Is your mom the kind to kick you out of the house if you refuse? If yes, then suck it up if you don't have the funds yet to be independent. If no, then either refuse and stay or better yet, refuse and leave. Each day, for the rest of their visit, whatever, but don't be around except minimally. If you leave for the week though, be prepared for your aunt to take revenge on you by having your cousin sleep and piss in your bed. My mom won't kick me out. I'm honestly surprised and kinda hurt she hasn't sided with me on this. She basically has said I can't go out or stay with my friends until I apologize to my aunt, but I don't feel like I should have to apologize. I agree you shouldn't have to, but apologizing and then leaving for a friend's house for a few days seems to be your best option here, even though it is unfair. Yeah, I suppose. It's a bit humiliating though, almost being forced out of my own home. But it's such a crappy situation, especially the bath thing. Being forced to have her in with me was a complete invasion of my privacy, and having to deal with her questions left me mortified I wanted to die.